Hello there, my good nerds. We are back to Gabriel Knight 2, and I did not remember the music being this loud over here. Okay, well, anyway, we are going to be talking to more people today. Might as well get on with it.
This is where he died. You must be Grace. Herr Dahlmeier.
Hello.
Josef. I didn't mean to startle you. I wanted you to see it. I feel him here the most, you know, more than at the castle. So, what did you want to know?
While Grace deliberates on what to pick next out of all these options, here's a little fun fact for you. That guy looks a lot like my high school physics teacher. Yeah, low res, low fidelity magic, I know.
Professor Barclay says your hobby is Ludwig.
Yes. He was the last real king that Bavaria had. As a Bavarian and a history buff, well, that's enough to hook me right there.
But there's more, right?
He was a romantic, you know, a dreamer. And he was misunderstood, maligned.
Sounds like you can relate.
Me? Hell, I have it easy. At least I live in the 1990s. And not every eye in the country is on me. But yes, I can relate.
You know about Ludwig's diary, right?
Of course.
How can I get my hands on it?
I'm sorry. I have been trying myself for 5 years. They keep it locked up tight in the Royal Archives and they don't let it out. They must think it contains things that will hurt his image.
They won't let anyone see it, not ever?
Only one person outside of the government ever got to see it, a biographer, Sir Richmond Chapel. He had friends among the German royals and they let him look at it.
Did you ever try to contact Chapel? Pick his brain?
No, and I don't believe I never thought of that. If you do and you find out anything, you must share.
It's a promise. Tell me about Ludwig.
I don't know where to start. There's so much. Politically, the most significant thing about Ludwig II was that he signed over independent Bavarian statehood to Prussia in 1870. Bavaria became a part of United Germany, and Ludwig became a figurehead prince under the Prussian Kaiser.
Why do you think he did that?
Bavaria had been involved in the 100 Years' War. People were tired of fighting. Prussia's push to unite the German states made some amount of sense. Still, Ludwig must have had other options. At the very least, he should have negotiated better terms.
So what was the real reason?
He was manipulated by Bismarck. At least that's what I think, anyway.
What about Ludwig personally?
You'll find two perspectives on Ludwig. The view the tourists get is the romantic ideal, Ludwig the tormented loner. Then there is the historian's point of view. Ludwig was plagued with guilt over his sexual orientation and was driven mad with self-loathing.
But I take it you're not buying either point of view.
Well, it's all too convenient, isn't it? That he was a devout Catholic, there is no question, and I'm sure there were pressures on him to be normal. But he was no prude. He loved Byron. Yes. Philosophy, the French court. If anything, Ludwig was too much an egomaniac. He didn't give a damn what anyone thought. And besides, he didn't try to hide any of his relationships. If he suffered from anything in his romantic life, it was disillusionment. No one loved him back as purely as he himself loved.
Well, if it wasn't sexual guilt that tormented him, what was it?
I don't know. His diary was filled with self-guilt, but I'm sure it's not about that. If I knew, I'd write my own book, set the record straight, so to speak.
You know, well, I think what the game is trying to set up is, well, we're kind of getting, well, there seems to be a message that Ludwig II was a werewolf. That, well, goes along with what we have in the werewolf lore book in the game. But it also delves into understanding of the human psyche and, well, psychology, I suppose, suggesting that it might be completely mistaken. But yeah, I think I should leave that up to your interpretation. I have mine. And it's all pretty fuzzy so far. I don't know if there's any established fact on the matter. I'm not that deep into Gabriel Knight lore. So yeah, major headology, smoke and mirrors, and red herrings flying around. Good luck navigating them all.
Have you read anything about Ludwig's midnight sleigh rides?
Oh, would that have been something? To be out at night and suddenly see him sweep by with his entourage? They say the night agitated Ludwig, and that being outdoors and the rushing feeling of the sleigh calmed him down. Sometimes even the sleigh wasn't enough. He would stop in some remote woods, order his servants to stay put, and go wandering off by himself for hours. It drove the servants crazy.
Yeah, Bismarck, by the way. I think that's supposed to be spelled with a CK at the end. Sierra.
Tell me about Bismarck.
Oh, Bismarck. He was the Prussian Kaiser's chancellor. Not a nice man. Bismarck had a reputation for learning people's weaknesses and manipulating them. It's a matter of record that he had spies on Ludwig's staff. He may even have had a henchman even closer to the king, and he was involved in the conspiracy to declare Ludwig insane.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Did you find out anything about the Black Wolf?
I did. I'd read about him before, but I hadn't realized that was who you were talking about. His name was Godin, Paul Godin. I found a reference to his being called the Black Wolf after you telephoned.
I've never heard of him. Who was he?
Godin lived on the fringes of the Prussian court. He was handsome, charming, dangerous, or so they say. He was variously rumored to have been a foreign prince, a Prussian spy, even an assassin. Since you were interested in him, I found out some things that are probably true. It said he came from abroad in the mid-1800s, but claimed high German blood.
Do you know where he came from?
No. And he was ruthlessly ambitious. He probably found out who held the power, Bismarck, and offered his services. Bismarck was a good judge of talent, of that sort anyway.
Huh. Playing through the game a second time, that right there held a lot of information. So I will say, only for those who, well, don't want to have that revealed to them right now, that we have met a person before Dahlmeier here, who has that exact backstory, who has presented that story of his own background before in the game. Interesting. But let's continue.
What else do you know about Godin?
He must have done something remarkable. Bismarck was not a generous man. He liked to string people along with promises, but rarely came through. He did for Godin, though. He gave him a royal title and lands in 1863. And that was the last reference I found to him.
Well, how could he just disappear?
It's not that unusual. Back then, when you were given a title, you usually changed your name and moved to a place where no one knew your past, so you could act with impunity, or be a pompous ass and get away with it.
Is there any way to find out what Godin was called after he got his title?
Is it that critical?
It might be.
Well, you could send away for a copy of the entitlement deed, assuming it has been destroyed during one of the wars. Godin's new name would be on it. But you would need a research permit from the government to access those records, and they can be very hard to get. A lot of red tape.
Great.
Let's go ask about that then. In a bit, though.
What do you know about Ludwig's hunting accident?
A couple of years ago, I was introduced to this great old man, a real old world farmer. Well, his grandfather was Richard Horning, Ludwig's equestrian. Oh, he told some great Ludwig stories. Sometimes I get lucky. Anyway, he said that after the hunting accident, Ludwig got terribly ill, that he had a fever and was acting crazy. They were afraid that the wolf had been carrying a disease or that the bite had gone septic.
A wolf bit him?
Yeah, it's not so unusual. There were a lot of wolves in the Alps back then. The servants were really worried, but Ludwig recovered, physically anyway. Horning's grandfather said it was the fever that broke Ludwig's mind, that he was worse than ever after that.
So, what do you think? Werewolf, rabies, or simple tetanus?
What do you mean Ludwig got worse after the accident?
Ludwig always had been a very private person. But after the accident, he got darker, more crazy. Towards the end, he was even forcing his servants to enter his chambers bent over so they couldn't see his face. Horning's grandfather said his temper was fearsome. He would fly into a rage at the least mistake.
Must have been terrified of him.
Yes, well, Horning's grandfather felt sorry for Ludwig, and Ludwig hated his own violence. He was always giving gifts to his servants to apologize.
You mentioned that there were other reasons why Ludwig's servants feared him.
Ah, that's another of Horning's mysteries. There's a story about Neuschwanstein. Apparently there was a period of time of 2 or 3 months when Wagner would come and visit him.
Wagner?
There. Yeah. The two would lock themselves in the singer's hall. Horning's grandfather said the sounds that came from there were awful. Well, the servants had superstitious minds anyway. Some of them quit over it, just walked away.
What kind of sounds?
Horning's grandfather called them heartbreaking and ungodly. Maybe it was Wagner trying to sing.
Well, I guess that's all for now. Thanks for your help.
It's my pleasure. And if you ever want to talk again, just give me a call. I'll meet you down.
I will. Thanks.
Servus.
Bye.
Okay. Well, that was absolutely informative. And now we're gonna have to watch Grace walk all the way back over to the east. Yeah, sorry. 90s adventure games. Do we like this? Right, back to the castle. Wait, it's there. And we shall save the game. You must. It's a 90s adventure game.
Hi, Gerda. I'm back. Good.
So, can you help us with some paperwork?
Gerda?
Yes?
Have you heard from Gabriel at all?
No, Grace, I'm sorry.
Never mind. Gerda, do you have any idea where I could get a government research permit? I don't have time for a lot of red tape.
You should ask Herr Übergrau. He can maybe get such things very fast.
You think? I was gonna write Gabriel today anyway.
Okay, well, let's go write Gabriel a letter. After doing this, of course.
Hallo, Bertel München.
Hi, I have a book of yours on Ludwig II. The author's name is Sir Richmond Chapel.
Yes, how can I help you?
Well, I'm doing some research on Ludwig, and I was hoping you could get me in contact with the author.
I'm afraid Sir Richmond Chapel is deceased.
Oh.
However, his son is living.
Oh. Well, is there any way you can put me in touch with him?
And who are you doing this research for?
Well, I'm working with Professor Barkley from Yale University.
All right. Thomas Chapel's number in England is 41 20 555 771.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.
Right. Then we write the letter. Here we go.
I should get a letter off to Gabriel. I need to include a note to Übergrau about the research permit.
Yes, the attorney. He would be able to dig that out. Or dig it up. Whatever direction you dig things in. But we have a note that we should also use on the phone. So let's sit back down and do that.
Chapel residence.
Hi, my name is Grace Nakamura. I'm calling from Rittersburg, Germany. Is Thomas Chapel there, please?
Speaking. What may I do for you, Miss Nakamura?
This is gonna sound crazy, but I have a copy of your father's biography on Ludwig II. I understand he had access to Ludwig's diary.
Yes.
Well, oh God, I'm not even sure. He didn't make a copy of it or anything, did he? Or perhaps he took good notes?
He wrote down a complete translation in English. He said he couldn't make headway with the German version. Ludwig's handwriting was rather brogue, you know.
He wrote down an English translation. Do you still have it?
Well, unfortunately, my father was allowed to see the diary only on the grounds that he wouldn't publish the entire work. I can't let you see it. Have you tried contacting the National Archive?
No, I don't have the kinds of connections your father did, or the time.
That's unfortunate, but I really cannot let it out of my hands.
I understand. It was just a shot in the dark.
Very well. The best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chapel.
Yeah, that is what secrecy promises will do to you. but that is also why we value them. Exit the castle and walk to the post office. Right, off we go.
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakamura.
Grüß Gott. Haben Sie etwas für mich?
Nein, leider nicht. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
Well, you can have an envelope from me.
Kann ich diesen Brief versenden?
Ja, 3 Mark bitte.
Dankeschön.
Bitte sehr. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
And that's all.
Danke.
Bitte.
Now. Now we are apparently supposed to pick flowers randomly. Speaking of, I think the game crashed here at some point during my previous playthrough, so I'll just save the game to be safe. Not sure why we would need them, but
Gibt's das denn, die Lilienblumen schon?
Sehr schön.
Ja, aber es ist doch noch so kalt. Für Sie ein Geschenk von der Madonna.
Oh no.
Nehmen Sie sie ruhig. Heute Nacht wird es kalt und sie wird sowieso erfrieren.
Thank you.
now, what is it about Geschenk and Madonna? That means that it should be a gift to the Madonna. Well, I wonder where we're going to be using it though. Doesn't seem like we'll be using it in this chapter, but well, we have a lily now, so that's something. I wonder if she has anything to say about the lily.
Father Getz said the lily was a gift from the Madonna. That's an odd way of looking at it.
Gift from the Madonna. Right, that's quite a different thing from being a gift to the Madonna. Right, I don't speak German. Okay, yeah, apparently we are going to use it for some interesting sites here at Seeshaupt. I don't quite understand why, or the rationale behind it, but well, flowers for the deceased, I guess. Maybe it's something about I don't know, flower language or something. I mean, a flower you are supposed to give during certain conditions. I am absolutely not up to scratch on that. Okay, that and here we go.
I'm trying to figure out what you want me to do, but I need more information to work with. If you can send any my way, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, do you see that? And there it's gone. Huh, I wonder if that's something we learned about in the first game. Doesn't really make sense to me, but like I said, I haven't played the first game in the series. I'm kind of new to this. Look at that. I think it is time to end the episode. So let's do that, and hopefully the next episode will wrap up in chapter 4. And we can move on to the penultimate chapter in the game. Stay tuned.